Hello, my friends, and welcome to the latest spin. I'm Mike Spinner, Student Athlete World USA, coming at you after a 1 week hiatus. I like using words that make me sound more intelligent than I am, so we'll call it was a hiatus. We did not record last week, we did not broadcast last week as I was on a trip, but we're back. It's Thursday night, it's 8 o'clock. We're having some fun. Welcome to the show, and as always, cell phone's on me. 203 518 8408 is the number. Any questions about our tours, about the company, about me, send me a text, put in the chat 203 518 8408. So, what's been going on in student athlete world? A lot. This is right now, without a doubt, the busiest stretch I personally had really in about a year, probably. Just interview after interview. I had a few earlier today. I still have a couple more tonight, all really good ones from all different sports, which is exciting. Um, and, if you are in a position where you're watching this video and you're still like in the application phase, just know our tours are filling real quick. You want to finish your application and schedule that interview sooner than later because we're filling. Every day I feel like we're getting more and more people saying, "Hey, we're coming." And so if you're still kind of on that on ramp, my advice to you is jump on the highway and let's roll. Set up that interview with me because things are progressing very quickly. So a few things I want to do tonight, and the first thing I'm going to do is give you a very kind of self-serving story real quick, but tie it into what we do. A huge congratulations to the Yale Youth Hockey Pee Wee team. My son's team went up to the Jay Peak Resort, which is about as deep into Vermont as one can get, and won a tournament championship over the weekend. And it was amazing. And hockey has this thing where you have letters to denote the quality of your program. So, like, B is a low-level program, goes all the way up to double A, and you have all these double A's out there who would probably not be very good B team, but calling themselves double A so they could sound important. And they go to these tournaments and they set themselves up in lower brackets so they could easily win a championship. And the long story short is this tournament was awesome because it was so evenly matched. Like every game was close for the whole weekend at every level. It was one of the best youth hockey tournaments and experiences I've been to doing this a while now. And my son's team, Yale Youth Hockey, took away a championship. And I got to tell you, it was a 1-goal win. My son had an amazing tournament, as did his whole team. And with about a minute and a half left in the championship game, up a goal, my son took a penalty. And I just remember the look on his face. And the look on his face was, if I just blew it for my team, it's going to be a rough moment. And killed off the penalty, won the game. And the reason why I'm telling you this is, when that happened, and he's been a part of a few championships before, what I look for during the celebration, they all storm the ice, they throw their equipment in the air, is just the look on his face. That's all I want to see at that moment. And I was in the perfect spot to see him come out of the penalty box with that just look of, and I'm almost getting choked up thinking about that look of just pure joy on his face, celebrating the championship and the relief of that penalty not being a factor. And it's one of those things I've seen a few times from him at the end of championship games. And, it's what we do this for, right, as parents. And it was definitely special. It's something that I'll never forget, just that pure joy look. I think any parent out there who's seen their kid do something special in sports, that look they get. And he had it. And it was just amazing. And the reason why I bring that up is because this time of year, I get a lot of questions about should I go as a parent or do I send my child on their own? What do I do? And so I want to kind of speak as a father for just a moment and say this. That look of joy that I observed on my own son at that moment is the facial expression that our athletes have the first time they compete wearing a USA jersey for Student Athlete World. It's a special experience. It's a wonderful experience. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It's really one of those things you don't want to miss. My son's going to go to United World Games this summer and play hockey, and I'm going. I really honestly wanted to go. on a different tour. I wanted to go to Costa Rica first or the Pyrenees Basketball Cup second. Both of those tours just looked too good to pass up. But, I picked the tour that I loved 2 years ago that I'm going to love again, but mainly because I want to see my son compete. And so as a parent, I'm saying to you parents, if you're thinking about whether or not you should go, the answer is you should go. You don't want to miss this. You don't as a parent, I don't as a parent get enough of those joy moments in sports with your kids. There's never enough of them. I don't care how good your kid is, how good their team is. It's impactful. It impacted me just talking about it here. And so you don't get these special moments long enough because most of our kids hopefully play high school, play college, but their sports career arc is a relatively short-term one in the big picture. And for me, I want to soak up every minute I can with my son on the ice as a hockey player until he can't be a hockey player anymore, whenever that is. And he's young; he's 12, so hopefully there's many years to come. But I thought about after the game as I was waiting for him. As everyone knows who knows me, I worked in college athletics 23 years as a coach and as an administrator before being blessed with this position. Had I still been an athletic director, it's basketball season at the college level. There were games this past weekend. I would have been at those games. I would not have been there with my son. If I was still a college lacrosse coach, which I was for a big stretch of my career, every team, Division I, II, and III, had practice this weekend. I would have been there. I wouldn't have been at the tournament. But because I work for this company and I have the ability to work wherever I go, and I work, how many of you did I return phone calls to and respond to texts to this weekend? A lot of you. I had the chance to be there, and boy, am I glad I was there. And what I don't want is you, whoever's watching this and wondering whether or not you should accompany your child on our tour, thinking to yourself, boy, I probably should have been there, because you should. This is a special experience. This is a wonderful experience. So, for those of you who watch your children for that special look on their face when something big happens in sports, if you're thinking about, do I do this or not, the answer is you do it. And you'll thank me later. I know I'm very thankful I went this weekend. And speaking of this weekend, I also had a chance to go to Canada, and it just so happens that we are making tremendous strides towards Student Athlete World Canada. We found an amazing partner. No official announcements coming yet, but Tim and I had a great meeting this week about where we can go from here. And Student Athlete World Canada is closer to a reality now than it's been at any point. We're working really hard to make this happen. Hopefully something more official coming out soon, but I was in Montreal. And so I got to travel the world this weekend, and I so want to record a video, but we're in a big rush because the championship game was late, and we went to see the New York Rangers, my favorite team in the world, play the Montreal Canadiens in the Bell Center. If you're a hockey fan, get to a game at the Bell Center. The atmosphere is just tremendous. But as I drove across the border, I thought to myself, I'm on an international tour right now. And it was just really cool going to another country. I've been to Canada, I've been to Montreal before. It's been quite a while, but it was just really almost like emotional going to another country because we're not that far away from all of you going to another country. And I can tell you there's nothing like it. I've been to Montreal before. It was so awesome being back in that city. It's a beautiful city. Really enjoyed our time there. But it just made me think about our tours and traveling with Student Athlete World and the experiences that our travelers get. My son had never been to Canada before, so I got to drive him around a beautiful city and show him some of the sights and, eat some real food in Canada and kind of experience French. I don't speak a word of French. So, it's just like going on tour every place we went. Do you speak English? Does anyone speak English? So we could make sure, we're ordering ourselves dinner and not something really strange. And so it was just kind of cool being there, thinking about this company and this experience and our tours. And it was just really neat being in Canada when the truth is, I hope I'm about to spend a lot more time in Canada if all goes well. And one of the things I've always wanted to do for Student Athlete World, as many of you who've gotten to know me know, my favorite hobby is cooking. I consider myself quite a good amateur chef. And I've always wanted to record videos for this show, cooking cuisine from the places that we visit. So there's a year actually right after United World Games, I actually cooked Austrian goulash, which is something I had at a cafe in Klagenfurt, Austria 2 years ago, and I loved it. So I cooked it, I nailed it. Just the video wasn't broadcast worthy, so I never submitted it to Tim to post. I still have it somewhere, but it wasn't the right time. And so whenever I have an opportunity, I do want to kind of pick, Costa Rica, Argentina, France, all these Spain, Portugal, all these places we go to, and pick like a delicacy that they enjoy where we travel to, and cook it myself and show you how it's made and try it. I kind of want to do a cooking show as a way to kind of promote our tours. I haven't gotten there yet, but from Canada, I do have something with me I'm going to share with you in just a second. So one quirk about me, it's a quirk. I have an obsession with Diet Coke. All right. We have a relationship. If it were socially acceptable, I would drink Diet Coke with breakfast in the morning. I love it. And I am so devoted to Diet Coke that I believe there are different kinds, not different flavors. There's just different qualities of Diet Coke. All right. And if you're a real Diet Coke hardcore nut like I am, you will be able to tell me that where the best Diet Coke in the world comes from. All right. The answer is McDonald's. I don't know why. Don't ask me why, but it's a fact. All right. And you can Google it. It's on the Google. Diet Coke from McDonald's tastes better than Diet Coke from anywhere else. And again, it's a fact. It's been proven. It's a scientific fact. Don't at me on it. It is the truth. If I'm near McDonald's, I'm not even hungry. I always want a Diet Coke. Like I could drink Diet Coke even when I'm not thirsty. All right. And I have some props here to show you. Diet Coke tastes differently in different forms. Diet Coke from a fountain tastes different than Diet Coke from a can, which tastes different from Diet Coke from a small bottle and different from Diet Coke from a big bottle. It's the way the world works, people. Some things, there's 24 hours in a day, and Diet Coke has different tastes. It's just how it is. So I have found recently that the smaller 12-ounce bottle of Diet Coke tastes better than the 20-ounce, slightly larger bottle of Diet Coke. And there's a 2-liter, which I don't have because I don't drink from the 2-liter. It's just they're different qualities of Diet Coke, all right? But in Canada, I found something I'm going to share with you in a second. One of the only things I don't like about our tours is when we go to Europe, they don't have Diet Coke. They have Coke Zero. I don't understand Coke Zero. But I found something in Canada that I've never seen here, so I bought it. I'm going to share it with you in just a second. And one of the things I love about our tours is finding products that you find in America but are different where we travel. So in Spain, if you go on the Spain-Portugal tour for basketball, for lacrosse, just call me beforehand. I'm going to ask you to pick up something for me. They have a flavor of Dorito, and I love Doritos almost as much as I love Diet Coke. It's just called Chili, CHILI. It's a green bag. They don't sell it in the United States. If I had to subsist on one snack food the rest of my life, it would be chili Doritos. All right. I bought a bunch at El Jamon in Spain, and I don't have any more, but I would kill for them. Like great Doritos. But it's unique because they don't sell it here. They do sell Doritos in the United States and in Europe, just not this flavor. So when I was in Canada, I found, I hope you can see it, Oreo flavored Coke Zero. They didn't have flavored Diet Coke. But Oreo Coke Zero, interesting, huh? Now, I haven't opened it yet, as you can see, so I am going to taste test it right now because that is the intrepid host that I am. I'm doing this. So here we go. And here we go. Okay. It's a subtle Oreo hint that tastes like Diet Coke. Not even Coke Zero. All right. I got to hand it to the Canadians. I like this. I would drink this again. Coke Zero to me tastes like artificial Coke. Diet Coke to me tastes like something awesome. This tastes like the subtle hint of Oreo in a Diet Coke. Like if you smashed up an Oreo and mixed it with Diet Coke, you'd be drinking. I like it. I got to go one more time. I'm sorry. Excuse me 1 second here. Yes, delicious. Okay. If you're a Diet Coke drinker and you go into Canada, go for the Oreo Coke Zero. It's really good. I've never had it before in my life, I swear. Excellent. Okay. So more reason, Tim, we gotta get Student Athlete World going because I want more of this. All right. I have no more. I only bought one bottle. Really, really good though. I'm really happy I just did that. Very cool. And while I was in Canada, I had poutine, not Putin in the political terms, but poutine. If you don't know what poutine is, look it up. It's amazing. Had it there. Really enjoyed my time there. So hopefully we're going to talk a lot more about Canada coming up. But again, nothing official yet. But, and just to recap, hey, we're growing, right? Student Athlete World Canada hopefully is going to be off the ground real soon. And hopefully we're growing with you as parents coming on tour with us and watching your kid. And again, you will thank me later. Rant over. It's time for What in the World. What in the World this week is brought to you by Tim Hortons. Now, some of you in the United States may be familiar with Tim Hortons. It is kind of like this awesome pastry shop that originated in Canada. All right. Tim Horton was a hockey player. If you did not know that, now you do. I have never had Tim Hortons before I was in Montreal, but we stopped after the game for a snack on the way back to Vermont. And oh my goodness, do Tim Hortons know how to make a donut? Let me tell you. So welcome on board as a sponsor. They are throughout the United States. Tim, there's none in North Carolina. I didn't check Wisconsin, but there's none in North Carolina, so you can't experience Tim Hortons yourself. But boy, did I enjoy the pastries at Tim Hortons. And in Montreal, some are open 24 hours, which is just awesome. But anyway, welcome on board as a sponsor to Tim Hortons. And happy to have you. Hopefully some more Canadian presence coming up. So what in the world this week goes out to Notre Dame football. And I didn't love the college football playoff series in terms of the entertainment value of the games. Even that championship game wasn't a great football game. And it is what it is. I said a couple weeks ago on this show, the concept is the right one. The execution needs some tweaking. But I just feel like the way Notre Dame has now a relationship with the college football playoffs, it's almost like it's a Notre Dame special interest, and I don't like it. They made the championship game. Good for them. They lost. The Fighting Irish, I guess, are back. I am not old enough to remember the Notre Dame as like a football kind of dynasty. All right, as old as I am, I mean, it was really before my time that they were like always in a national championship. They won a national championship in my lifetime. They've always been good, sometimes not so good, but I just think that they shouldn't have this like automatic entry into the college football playoff because they're Notre Dame. They need to be in a conference, and I don't think they should get to participate in this tournament without it. Because the thing I learned was each conference that has a team in the CFP gets like $40 million to divide amongst the conference, which is kind of neat. 10-team conference, that's $4 million a team. And my math is getting better, right? Which is kind of cool. But now I see we have a bunch of people watching. Again, any questions about us? Put it in the chat, or 203-518-8408 is my cell. But Notre Dame, for getting into the tournament, they get $40 million just for themselves. And here's the deal. So we're now in the NIL reality, right? Like we're establishing almost salary lines for different programs. It's been widely reported that Ohio State, I believe their NIL budget was $20 million. And I think Bill Belichick got $20 million from North Carolina, which is obscene. I just read an article about an hour ago. It's now a controversy at Texas that Arch Manning is not the highest paid player at the University of Texas, which I don't care. My heart bleeds for you, Arch. You're probably only getting like $3 million. Someone else is getting $4 million, whatever it is to play college football. It's all ridiculous. But my point here is they have to level the playing field very quickly. All right. Or college football is going to be so far out of whack. It's just not going to be worth watching anymore. And by Notre Dame having this financial inequity where they are essentially a conference unto themselves, I think really, really hurts the college football playoff as an entity and gives Notre Dame an advantage that A, they don't need because they're Notre Dame, but B, is not appropriate considering the landscape. So I hope at the end of the day, the people running the CFP learn their lesson this year. They have to tweak the rules to make the games more competitive. And the Notre Dame factor needs to change. I don't know if it will. Maybe it probably won't. Well, they probably have an agreement that's there long term. But I just feel like you have the potential to have something real special with the college football playoff format as it is. And hopefully maybe it will grow to 16 teams. So it's 4 rounds, everyone plays. But at the end of the day, I just feel like the Notre Dame component, the financial arrangement they have, took away from everything else. And long term, it's going to give them an edge that a lot of these programs don't have. Just my opinion. That's it for the latest spin this week. As always, how do I join the fun? How do I change my life, go on tour, see the world, and see that look of joy on my son's face as he competes in the USA jersey? Only one way. Go to studentathleteworld.com, complete your application, make an appointment for an interview with me, and pack your bags. See everyone next week. Hope you have a great week, everybody.